What is PKU? PKU, or phenylketonuria, is a genetic metabolic disorder in which the body cannot break down phenylalanine into tyrosine, which causes a buildup of phenylalanine, which is harmful to the brain. In simpler terms, if a person is born with PKU, they can't eat protein, or phenylalanine, and they have to stay on a low-Phe or low-protein diet their whole life. How do they get protein? Isn't it necessary for our health? Through a medically made formula that has already been broken down. How was PKU discovered? PKU was discovered when a mother's intuition told her that her mentally disabled children were different than other mentally disabled children. So she took them into many doctors, but none of them could help. At the time, doctors did not have much knowledge of chemistry or biochemistry, so she was advised to bring her children to see Dr. Abjorn Folin. After many examinations, he finally found something different about her two kids that had never been recorded in science history. Upon adding ferric chloric acid to urine, the color normally stays brownish, and when ketones are present, it turns purple or burgundy, but the kids' urine turned a deep green color. The doctor was able to isolate what was causing this, and it was phenylpyruvic acid. By pure luck of misreading an article they had thought would help them measure phenylpyruvic acid, they actually figured out how to measure phenylalanine levels. By making this discovery, they were able to find out that the two children's phenylalanine levels were abnormally high and could conclude that their bodies did not work properly in breaking down phenylalanine. What are the genetics behind PKU? PKU is an autosomal recessive pattern, which means both copies of the gene in each cell have mutations. The parents of an individual with this type of condition each carry one copy of the mutated gene, but usually do not show signs or symptoms of the condition. If both parents are carriers, what are the chances the baby has PKU? Let's draw a Punnett square. Alright guys, so we're going to make a Punnett square for PKU, which is an autosomal recessive condition. So we know that if it's double capital R, they're not a carrier and they don't have PKU. If it's a capital R and a little r, they are a carrier, but they don't have PKU. And if it's a double little r, then they have PKU. And we know in an autosomal recessive condition, both parents are carriers but don't have it themselves. So if we're drawing the Punnett square, we get a big R and a little r, and a big R and a little r. So when we draw it out, so with this Punnett square, the results show that there's a quarter chance that the baby is not a carrier and doesn't have PKU. There's 2/4 chance that the babies are a carrier and don't have PKU. And there's a 1/4 chance that the baby has PKU. Keep in mind though that in a room of 50 people, only one person is a carrier. So it's very unlikely for both carriers to end up together and have kids. But if they do have kids, it's a 1 in 4 chance. And 1 in 10,000 babies have PKU. And here are some closer-up pictures of the genetic breakdown. What is Kuvan and how does it work? The generic or scientific name for Kuvan is cypropirin dihydrochloride. Kuvan is a synthetic form of a natural substance that activates an enzyme needed to break down phenylalanine in the body. Kuvan is the first drug for the treatment of PKU. It is to be used alongside a low-Phe diet and a medically made formula. PKU is caused by a defect in an enzyme called PAH. PAH stands for phenylalanine hydroxylase, an enzyme in the body that breaks down phenylalanine into tyrosine. In a healthy person, that PAH enzyme uses BH4, which is a chemical naturally present in the body to break down Phe into other chemicals that help with brain function. In PKU, the PAH enzyme doesn't break down Phe, so too much Phe builds up in the blood. High levels of Phe affect the brain if left untreated. PAH is produced in the liver. It uses BH4 to help convert Phe into an amino acid called tyrosine. The problem for people with PKU is that we can't break down that phenylalanine into tyrosine, so Phe can build up in the brain and cause damage. Kuvan works like natural BH4. BH4 helps break down Phe. Kuvan works the same way by helping the pH enzyme process Phe.